Hey friends, welcome to La Fama Bleu. Today I am visiting my aunt. She's in her 80s and kind of wanted to care for her. I don't live in the same state that she lives in, so I came to visit her and give her a bath. She does have my cousins who care for her as well, but I figured I would give them a break today to to care for my aunt so that they don't have to do as much as they normally do. But the reason that I have the camera pointing to the sky is because my aunt has lived here for, I don't know, over 30 years now. And so she lives close by the airport. And almost literally every 5 minutes, there are planes flying over the home at pretty low height, considering. I guess they've just taken off. Some of the flights have just taken off, so the planes seem quite low as they fly over the homes. And so I kind of wanted to see if it's funny. They fly pretty frequently, but now that I'm creating the video, there's absolutely nothing flying, right? Yeah, go figure. But anyway, so kind of wanted to bring you up to date. My son is still visiting with his father. And so yesterday he called me and said, "Oh, mommy, my ex's woman was being mean to him." And I'm like, "What do you mean she's being mean? What is she doing? Where's your father?" And I guess my ex wasn't there. For the most part, he does go to work and leaves him with his woman. And so a lot of times he spends it playing games, and you can see that plane, right? Hopefully you saw it. I'm sure there'll be another one soon. But anyway, so I called my ex and I said, "Hey, our kid is complaining that your woman is being mean. Could you please call and find out what's going on?" And so by the time I called, I guess he must have been on his way home because he had texted me saying he was driving. Because when I spoke with him, it was pretty brief. And then afterwards, he texted to say he was driving. But either way, um, the fact that he's physically in their presence, I wasn't going to press him and ask him for details. But I definitely want to know what's going on, if she's being mean to him, and to take actions, in terms of demanding that he doesn't spend time with her or as much as he has been. Because at the end of the day, if he's scheduled to visit with his father should take time. If you can't take 4 weeks off, then you know what? Then we shouldn't do 4 weeks. Then we should do the number of weeks that's allowed, that you are able to physically be home to care for your son. So that's where we are now. Once the visit this next week is the fourth week. Once that's done, I can definitely hear from him what's been going on in terms of, how she treated him and whether there's going to be another visit. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to leave my kid with anyone who's not going to take good care of him or appreciate him. Because I know if you are a new subscriber here or a new listener, you may not know that I have two adopted kids with my ex, and this lady has been really mean to them, where one of them sleeps on the couch, the other one does have a room, but she doesn't really communicate with her at all, with my daughter. My son sleeps on the couch. So those two live with my ex, simply because complications with the courts and so forth. So that's how it had to happen. It had nothing to do with me per se. They thought it was a good thing to keep them in the school settings, friends that they've had over the years. Meanwhile, my son doesn't go to school. Go figure. The courts don't normally make the best decisions for children, which is why parents should figure out what they're going to do once they decide to separate or divorce, so that the kids don't have to suffer and pay the consequences. But anyway, so that's where we are to date. I'm going to see if there's going to be another plane. And then that will be end of the update for now. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening to my story. And unfortunately, it's a season that's longer than I need it to be. Unfortunately, when you have children with an ex, it lingers. Sometimes it doesn't, because some exes do recognize that they're horrible parents, and they just let the moms or the wives do what they need to do best and care for the children. But in this case, my ex is still trying to have a presence. I can't say he's active, but still trying to have a presence in my youngest son's life. But I'm just praying that he doesn't mess him up, mentally, in terms of telling him stories, because he does at times. Keeps on telling him that I took him away from him when I really didn't. The court just thought he was a lousy father and didn't want to put all 3 kids in the same situation. And so that's pretty much the story here. So I don't see another plane coming. It's interesting because they're pretty frequent, but maybe there aren't that many flights this morning, but I will keep you posted. I will do another video so that you can see the frequency of these planes flying over my aunt's house. All right, well, let's see if you can guess where I am, which airport is nearby, considering, looking at these homes, whether you would recognize which state or which part of the city would actually have these type of homes. All right, until next time, friends. Here it is. Here's another one. Before I shut down, here it is. Yeah. Here we go. All right. That's it. So that's what we hear all day, all night. No exaggeration. After a while, you get used to it and it becomes music to the ears. So, all right. Until next time, friends. Thank you for listening to La Femme en Bleu.